It's the Jack and Nick Horror Show.
I bet people are going to be really happy today, or at least in some part today, because of us.
Because of us or because of you?
Well, maybe because of me, but I mean, we're here. We're here to talk about horror movies.
Oh, yeah,
we're
that's
two
true.
guys on a show.
Two guys that do a show. Hi, this is the... What is it?
Jack and Nick Horror
Show. I forgot. I forgot the name of the fucking place.
I know.
I
so
did.
You haven't been around for like ever, right?
Yeah. Neither of we just haven't been able to have our schedules match up, and I went and bought a house, and I'm currently Tom Hanks in the money pit, and working on stuff, and very, very busy. And then things are straightening up, and then I have a Sunday off, Sunday night, and I said to Nick, "Hey Nick, you free to record Sunday night?" And you said,
Whatever.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And then you said something about No Doubt.
No Doubt? I don't remember. Not the band. But no doubt that I would make it, I guess. Yeah, so, remember last year or 2 years ago when I said a horror podcast should never skip Halloween, or you should just pack it in?
Yeah, I remember you said that. Well, we didn't pack it in. We repacked our luggage. Because,
Karma, damn you!
Yeah. Well, I mean, shit happens, you know?
Yeah, it really happened to me.
It really does.
It really hasn't been good for either of us, so you're lucky we're here in general, so don't complain. Nobody complain.
Nobody complain. Nobody go on iTunes and go, "Oh, they hardly record."
We're gonna try and have this episode and maybe even another one before the end of the year, and then hopefully we're gonna slowly get back on track now that Jack's living in a money pit.
Yeah, where I have nothing else to do.
Yeah, you got nothing else to do. Exactly.
I can't go anywhere. I can only record podcasts.
Exactly.
Do I sound okay tonight, Nick? Or today?
You sound gorgeous.
Well, you should see how I look.
Well, probably like Bert.
Yeah, I do.
The Muppet.
Yeah, I know. I know this.
Nah, but they don't always know which Bert I'm talking about. Are there other famous Berts? Reynolds? You don't look like Burt Reynolds.
There's Lancaster.
No.
There's
That's it. Bertie Bott's?
No, Bert Gordon.
No, that's the person who makes the fucking jelly beans.
There's So what are we doing tonight, Nick?
So tonight we're going to talk about Don't Breathe first. The movie, Don't Breathe. That's not an instruction. Well, it is an instruction in the movie. We'll talk about that movie because we both happen to have seen it.
Yes.
It came out this summer. It was a big hit, right? All the kiddies loved it. So
they
we'll talk
loved
about
it.
that.
Mm-hmm.
And normally we try and stay away from like home invasion fare, but this one had a twist or two, so we'll talk about that. But we won't give away all the stuff because we're not a spoiler cast. Then we're going to talk about all the stuff we've been doing these past couple of months and all the horror that we have seen. We're going to recap it real fast, like, And then after that, we're going to give 8 minutes to our most faithful listener. So stick around for the 8 minutes.
Yes. 8 minutes
Especially
to our most
if
faithful.
you're that guy.
Movie of the week with Jack and Nick.
So this movie,
It's a movie.
you want to recap it for the people at home?
Yeah. It's about 3 people that go into a blind dude's house and shit happens.
Yeah, they're gonna rob him, but blind. Get ready for that.
because
He's got no sight.
When this movie came out, I was very excited for it because it was Fede Alvarez that did it,
Yeah,
and
correct.
the Evil Dead remake, yeah, and it reminded me a lot of Livid or Livide or Livide,
Yeah,
whichever way you want to pronounce it.
the French movie.
You've seen that one too, right?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, well, it's a totally different movie, but it's almost the same type of setup, where you have a girl and 2 guys in a pizza
that's
place who break into this like crippled person's house that has a whole bunch of money in there. But shit happens in 2 totally different ways.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. So I mean,
Because that movie's supernatural. This one is just straight up. Dude turned out, turns out the blind dude was a soldier. He's ready to kill. You know.
and he's kind of a badass. I felt bad for him.
Yeah, I felt more on his side than the people, and I think that most people who saw this felt somewhat sympathetic to the characters who break in because they give them like a backstory of like this person's only stealing so that they can protect their kid,
Right.
that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's that horse shit. I think it's all horse shit, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah, it's that's remember Attack the Block,
Yeah.
where it's like these guys are a bunch of assholes, and they're scumbags, and yet you root for them. These people are, feel bad for me, but I'm still going to be a fucking douchebag.
Yeah.
And then I felt zero sympathy for them, to be honest. I was excited when Cornrows, well, you see it in the trailer, so I'm not really spoiling it.
There's three people:
yeah.
Cornrows, white boy who shouldn't be there, and the girl who's stealing to protect her sister and get her out of their abusive family situation. That much is told in the trailer.
Female Ash.
Female Ash? Yeah, she had a name.
No, she was
male.
She was
Rocky.
female Ash in Evil Dead.
Yeah, but her character name is Rocky for some reason.
Rocky, yeah. I think it's short for Rochelle. No, I don't fucking know.
Actually, that makes sense.
That does make sense.
I had to think about it.
I just came up with that. I don't know how.
Anyway, so my big problem with this movie. Now, I enjoyed the movie, man. I actually liked watching it. I felt like it was really unpredictable. Shit happens in it that you're constantly like, what? I didn't see that happening. You couldn't have predicted it. And if you're the type of person who goes, it was predictable, I knew everything that was going to happen, you are either full of shit or a weird sadist, and the police should raid your home. But this movie, like, the first thing that happens, because it's an American horror movie, it has to have the pre-credit sequence. And in this one, for whatever reason, and I did one of my least favorite things in horror movies, is when the pre-credit sequence shows you the the final scene of the movie. And the first thing you see when you watch this movie, I'm not spoiling it because it's the first thing that happens in the movie, is the blind dude is dragging the blonde girl down the street.
Yeah.
In broad daylight.
In broad daylight, right.
And then it cuts to, but a few days beforehand, it's like, what? I was like, oh, come on.
Yeah, dude.
Why did they do that?
I couldn't agree with you more. I was so, it was unwarranted, and it was meaningless to do it. And the worst part is that I listened to the commentary of the movie, and Fede Alvarez goes, oh yeah, when they show that later on in the movie, and he goes, yeah, by this time the audience has already forgotten that happened at the beginning of the movie from all the action that's happened before. I'm like,
oh yeah, you hope so.
Yeah, you think it's...
Maybe the average person does. Maybe the average person just forgets that happened. But me, since I'm watching it at home on my couch, I watched it on demand with my wife, and we're sitting there, we're watching it, and I'm like, okay, she's in trouble, but we know she gets out because she at least, lives to the next day when she gets dragged down the street.
Right. It makes it more unpredictable.
unless he's just driving her dead corpse or dragging her dead corpse down the road, and she gets killed first, and that's the twist.
Yep.
It's pretty much like if Jaws came out today, the pre-credit sequence would be Jaws with a boat in his mouth.
And he goes, smile, you son of a... And then it cuts to the beginning of the movie.
2 days earlier, I want these beaches open.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. It would have been more unpredictable had you not known any of that prior to the movie starting.
Because then it would have felt like anything could happen in this movie, you know?
And,
but it puts such a restrictive block on the movie because it's like it is no matter what, this scene happens for real. It's not just a thing,
There is something quite disturbing that happens in it too, which I'm not going to talk about, but I will say that was pretty sick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's at least one or two sick things in the movie.
Mhm.
And I mean, like, totally unpredictable stuff happens. I'm not going to spoil any of the stuff that happens, because even if I did, you wouldn't believe me if I described it to you, because it's just like, it's stuff out of another movie happens in this movie. None of it's supernatural, but it's like, you could not have sat down and predicted a lot of the stuff that happens. There's at least two really big reveals when they're inside the house
Yeah.
that are like, wow, they're so screwed. And I mean, it is an intense movie, and some of it is even filmed like in the dark entirely, and that's just really intense. It makes you think about, what if I was in the dark? I mean, you're able to see it because it's shown in like night vision type of stuff on the screen.
That's really, that whole entire sequence is really cool, especially when the gun is being shot and then it flashes color. You know, that's super.
Very good. I noticed it too.
I loved Steve Lang, though, as the blind
the
dude.
blind guy.
He's Avatar. He's the guy from Avatar, the villain in that terrible movie. But he is so good in this, and he's extremely believable. And I think he kind of reminds me of what is it, Dennis Hopper and Michael Parks rolled into one, in a sense.
He kind of reminded me of Junior Ron Perlman. I don't know why our brains work this way, and we have to fill in the blank of who he reminds us of.
Why can't he just be Steve Lang?
Yeah, maybe he's just Steve Lang.
Yeah, it could be.
A Steve Lang-like killer.
But it's so good, though. I mean, the movie itself is, for me, like, I would say it's slightly above average.
Right.
You know, it's not like mind-blowing or anything like that. It's a good, thrilling experience, you know?
Yeah, I agree. A thrilling experience. Good way to put it. Because it's like, as I watched it, I was just like, I honestly don't know what's going to happen. I don't know anything that is going to happen in this movie. And there is a lot of tension, a lot of tricky situations that they fall into where, like, they can't call the police to come help them because they're robbing the guy of $1 million
Right.
that he keeps in his home. And there's nobody in the neighbors' houses because he lives in like this cul-de-sac that's completely empty in Detroit, where everybody else, got foreclosed on, and the houses are all overgrown shit pieces. And it's just a really, like, it is above average. For my one major complaint about it, that is probably my only real big complaint about it. I think there's another one. At one point, one of the characters gets brazen and starts spouting like one-liners, and I was like, come on.
Yep. That's where I was at too. That's why I'd say it's above average. It's
right, but it's definitely above average, especially when it comes to the modern home invasion movies that we get cranked out like 3 or 4 a year.
Oh my god!
Literally, one came out this year called Home Invasion. Yeah, and I was like, well, I know I don't have to watch that one, because for me, ghost, supernatural type possession movies and home invasion movies are the two things that I'm just like, nope, not going to watch it anymore. I need to see something better. And this was better. So that's cool.
That poor blind guy. I felt so bad for him. They're supposed to be making a sequel to this, by the way, just to let you know.
Well, there is a sequel tease in the movie.
Yeah.
So maybe there will be more. But like, I did feel bad for him, but then one of the twists came, and I was like, oh, I have no one to root for in this movie, so let's just let God sort him out. you know?
Yep.
There was definitely a point where I was like, well, don't feel bad for him anymore.
That's true. It's very true when that happens, but we're not saying that.
The movie tests you in a lot of ways. Because first it tests your ability to sit there and watch this, like, and keep a level head, because it is very intense and very stressful. But then on the other side, it's like, test your allegiance to the characters that you thought you were having an allegiance to over and over again. So
the Cornrows, he's in another movie called Beneath that Larry Vicenden made, which has the same kind of unpredictability to it. Like, you don't know who's gonna die next, kind of thing. So that's one I would recommend if you want to see something with cornrows in it again. So anyway, Nick, Do you
What?
hear? Do you hear that?
What is it? What's the noise?
It's a bone.
Bone?
Amazon All-Stars.
Time for a bonus segment. We're going to be doing Amazon All-Stars. Amazon All-Stars is when Jack and I find the 1-star reviews of this movie that we just reviewed on Amazon. And we're going to tell you, the point of view from some people who hated this movie, since Jack and I both enjoyed it. Jack,
Yeah. Yes.
read that 1-star review you've got.
Okay. First one is going to be the person, not going to say guy or girl, that has something in their mouth when they are asked what they thought of Don't Breathe. Oh. Boring! I don't know what of all these 5-star reviewers were watching, but this was one of the most boring movies I've ever seen. Nothing scary about it. It was just slow and boring. Didn't even want to give it 1 star. Hate that I spent $5.99 on it. A waste of time and money. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank
Great
you.
viewpoint.
That's all I
Great
got.
viewpoint. I'm so happy.
That's what these people sound like. It's not.
Right. It is. 'Cause
It
they're
is.
just- They're tapping so hard in all caps on their goddamn keyboard.
Ladies, this is the kind of guy that, like, if you were out on a date with him and this was his review of Don't Breathe, look at the waiter. Okay? Just look at the waiter. And if it's a girl, look at her.
Here's one. 1 star. More like, don't watch this. And then I wish we had a noise. If we could have a noise like, bing, 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 or something. Like, you just got owned. Don't breathe. All right. So more like, don't watch this. If 0 stars were possible, I'd rate it 0. I'm eagerly awaiting the sequel, though. This time, the guy gets LASIK and can see, while his dog suffers an accident and is now blind. That was at least funny.
Oh, gosh. All right.
Still a long one.
Are we supposed to have sympathy for the people that break into a blind man's house to rob him? Any violence he does to them is in self-defense and is completely in his rights. He's obviously barely keeping it together, but it's okay to rob another person as long as you can benefit from it. And then there's some disturbing sexual violence against the 2 women that's supposed to make us redeem these terrible characters? ? Exclamation. The premise is idiotic and teaches terrible values. Is anyone dumb enough to feel for these characters as Steve Lang chases them? Can anyone possibly think Jane Levy was justified in taking his body and getting people killed so that he could buy 2 train tickets? Didn't she already have enough money for the first poorly justified robbery? That was at least from rich people and not disabled poor person to get out of town with all this violence? Terrible!
That was written by a middle-aged woman with a haircut that the haircut says, "May I please talk to a manager?" Like, she comes up to the counter and you know what she's going to say because she's got AJ Styles' haircut. He's a wrestler.
I think that Steve Lang and Jane Levy should seek better agents, because if they're doing all the killing and stealing, then, they're not getting good parts, I guess, right?
I don't know, I guess.
That's stupid. Never mind. You're next.
Okay. Here we go.
I'm ready.
This one, is written by like a horror fan, but I can't tell what their political motivation is in this one. So we have to try and figure out who they vote for last election, in November. Let's try and figure that out.
Okay.
What's with all the 5 stars?
Trump.
You think so, because that line's in all caps. But don't fall for this crap of a flick. No real gore, scares, and the end was a copy of Cujo, only this dog never gets to chomp on anything but car seats. This is a propaganda movie.
So it's like Turner and Hooch.
The slobbery dog ruining Tom Hanks's day. No. Here comes the Alex Jones shit.
I'm ready.
But it's not really, because like I don't understand what he's saying at all in this part. So hang on for the ride. This is a propaganda movie, big time. Starts off showing an illegal alien's mugshot, white,
What?
not Asian or black, and then goes on to tell the world that if you're an American vet, you can kill or do whatever the hell you want and no one's going to touch you. Such BS. This movie was not meant to scare or freak you out. It's a way for the producer and his clan, spelled Klan, to spread a horrible message to our vets to help them advance their cause that will likely end up getting some vets into big-time trouble. What?
In related news, I just farted, and it's really bad.
It's kind of like this thing. All right, so wait a minute. So he's upset that like the illegal alien was not Asian, which I don't remember there being a mugshot of an illegal alien in the movie. So I don't know what he's talking about.
Fetty Alvarez, you're a disgusting human being. You are a Klan member.
That he's Hispanic, and maybe that's why he's not actually part of the Klan. That Klan. And like, all right, so they're talking about not getting vets into trouble, but they're also talking about, you know, the people behind this movie are the Klan. So who were they voting for last election? Because it sounds like they're upset in both directions. I don't understand this review.
I mean, the guy's a veterinarian. Leave him. No.
Dude, like, no. All right, here's his actual complaints. No real score, scares, and the end was a copy of Cujo. Okay, that's your real complaint, and then the rest of it is just like stuff that didn't even seem to happen in the movie.
No, you're overthinking it, man.
Really overthinking. Yeah, too much Alex Jones.
It's girls. When a guy like this is having sex with you, and he's asking is this your pussy, then you know it's time to look elsewhere. Watch the TV and go for one of them guys. And if it's a girl, go for one of them.
So that's Amazon All-Stars, people. I hope you enjoy these idiots.
Freestyle. This is where Nick and I just catch up, since we don't do shows for months and months and make everybody upset and go listen to terrible horror podcasts.
Dude, everybody has a podcast these days.
I know, I really do.
I almost feel unmotivated from this just because I think about like how everybody has a horror podcast these days, and I'm like, ooh,
yep,
I'm one of those guys. In fact, I have been for years.
For years, yeah.
This is actually our 5th anniversary of horror podcasting. We've been at this now for 5 years.
Jesus Christ, has it been that long?
Yep.
It feels like 20.
Yeah. It's been a long, long road to get to this episode, let me tell you.
Really has been. I wanted to let you know, Nick, that I saw something that I didn't expect to be great. And you're going to hear a lot of burps tonight. My apologies.
Awesome.
I had pasta.
The people love that on the iTunes reviews.
They do. Yeah, I know. Well, they don't like other stuff. They can listen to some fucking burps. I don't care.
So, what you got?
Okay, so I got the first season of Ash vs. Evil Dead.
Oh yeah, did you watch it?
I watched it last weekend-ish, and then over the last 3 weeks. Dude, I fucking love it. I think it's very hard to say, but it's so much goddamn fun. It's exactly, I think, what I expect from Walking Dead. If I watch The Walking Dead, as far as
like that.
I know, but I'm saying that like it's condensed entertainment down to 30 minutes or maybe 40 minutes where you're gonna get some gore and you're gonna get some death and mayhem and craziness, and then on to the next one. Rather than just a lot of fucking dialogue and a bunch of people trying to fuck each other. I I really enjoy the hell out of it, and I'm really glad that they went that route with it rather than make another movie, because I think that it's just enjoyable. I am I wasn't expect I was expecting it to just be like, this is all right. It's like fan service.
That's pretty much how I felt when I watched it. I was like, I only watched the first maybe episode and a half, and in the first episode, I was like,
Oh no.
oh, they're doing all the stuff that I don't like from, you know.
But it gets so much better.
Sorry.
It really does, dude. It
I
gets.
can't stick around. I can't. I ain't
It
got time
does.
for TV that doesn't grab me by the balls right away.
It gets so much better. It really does.
They say the same thing about living your life as a gay person. Wow, take that line out.
They say the same thing about Walking Dead, and I still don't watch it.
Oh no, don't watch that. Game of Thrones. That happened in Game of Thrones, and I was forced to watch enough of it that it really became great in the first season.
I gave up. I didn't even make it to that red wedding.
You're a fool.
I know I'm a fool, but you know what?
It's real good.
I know, but I got. There's too many people, and I'm like, I got stuff. I got movies.
I know this is my problem with TV, which I'll talk about in a bit. But so anyway, did you got the first season?
Yes, I haven't watched the second season yet. Yes,
I haven't seen. Well, I just said,
yeah.
But yeah, I think it's probably good for Bruce Campbell fans. That's what I got a sense of, like, right away. And I'm not the hugest of Bruce Campbell fans, just because.
It's really good.
He's playing Bruce Campbell in the show. Like,
yeah.
He's playing Bruce Campbell playing Ash. It's,
But he's washed up, Ash. So.
Just like he's washed up Bruce Campbell playing washed up Ash. Yeah.
So what about you, Nick?
Well, TV show I watched that is barely horror related, but I think horror fans would probably enjoy it. Also, another long-winded HBO season was, it just ended last week. I should be watching it now, but it's not on this week, is Westworld, which had sort of different stuff in it that I think horror fans would enjoy. Sort of a, how would I describe it being horror related? There's a lot of gory bits, lots of boobs, not just boobs, consensual sex.
Boobs are scary.
Some people. Well, anyway, there's also, really good subplots and also, really tense moments and some, like, body snatchers vibe of like who, you don't know who's real and who's a robot. The show is about a theme park that's set in the Wild West, and when you go to it, everyone there is like a very sophisticated robot, and you can do whatever you want. You could fight, you can kill them, you can fuck them, you can do all sorts of shit, right? Mm-hmm. And then the people running the park are like all madmen, it seems, from the first season. And then the robots become sentient, or do they? That's like the plot. That's the show. And it's simultaneously like a really artful, wonderful masterpiece of a TV show, and at the same time, really, really stupid. Really stupid. Really stupid. Like, there's a lot of stuff in it that, like, if you pay attention to the art that you are enjoying, you'll ask questions like, but what about when, or in an earlier episode, blah, blah, blah. And you have to be like, no, can't think that way. I can't think that way, right? Because if you start thinking that way, then you suddenly realize that the whole show makes no sense. Because then you start asking questions like, but wait a minute. How'd they invent this park? How'd they come up with the park? How did they do this every night and reset the park in this Truman Show-esque, landing point? But anyway, from a horror fan perspective, there's a lot of, like I said, blood and guts, people being torn apart for like no reason. This show could easily have had much less violence in it, and yet its violence and sex is gratuitous. And therefore, I think horror fans may come to appreciate its exploitative nature. So perhaps give it a shot, children. Also, Anthony Hopkins is in it, and he plays a guy who's insane, because everybody in this show is insane or a robot. So get prepared for that.
Did you see the movie, the original?
No, I never saw it.
No, it's good. I really enjoyed it. I haven't seen the show yet.
Well, when you watch the show, just don't think about the logistics at all.
Right.
You have to not think about like how this happened, why that happened. Some of it will be explained, some of it won't. I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch the next season just because I'm already asking too many questions about is this a good show or is it the stupidest thing I've ever seen? The best part about the show is that occasionally they'll have like this player piano going in it at a saloon, except the music that they'll be playing will be like something awesome, like a player piano cover of Black Hole Sun, or they'll have another scene where it's like there's a big orgy with all the robots, and there's a little quartet playing a song there, and it's like Radiohead's No Surprises, that sort of thing. No, in fact, in that scene, it was Nine Inch Nails is Something I Could Never Have, and just sticking around for the hidden bits of music makes the show almost worth it. So, and like a lot of things that happen in the show, totally awesome, totally wonderful. So it's a very polarizing show, but only in my head because the whole world loves the show. But in my head, I'm like, I'm too smart for this. I see your bullshit.
It's fun. Michael Crichton, I know, wrote the original Westworld.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same thing as Jurassic Park.
Yeah, except in Jurassic Park, they explain where the dinosaurs came from, what they're going to be doing with all the dinosaurs, how everything came to be, the logistics of the park. Don't think about the logistics of Westworld.
But the same thing in the movie Westworld, you have Westworld, but then you have like medieval world. And then there's like this other world where it's a theme park that you go to be in the Wild West. But then
they've made allusions to it.
Yeah.
Maybe having other stuff in some of the episodes. So maybe in future seasons, we're going to look back at the first season and be like, oh, that was just a bunch of setup. Everything that came afterwards made it worth it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's even going to be the case because it's already I feel like the last episode may have actually jumped the park. Or they're going to jump the shark, jump the park. I'm thinking of the park full of robots. But no. There's a part.
I gotta say, I love it when you say that. When you don't know where you're going. And you go, yo.
It really helps recenter my brain. So, I don't know. Check it out. It's kind of cool. If you get HBO Go or something like that, there's no reason you shouldn't try it. But it might not be the prestige TV you're hoping for if you ask questions like, but wait a minute, and then fill in the blank. Because then but wait a minute. Why did security suddenly turn on that security camera when the camera was there the whole time? What was the camera there for if not to watch this guy to make sure he wasn't fucking the robots?
I'm going to play catch up with you.
Okay. I got a few more movies I've seen too, but I'm not going to talk about them yet. You talk.
I'm going to play catch up first.
Okay, catch up is going to be rapid fire or
sort of.
Fire?
Okay. The first one is a movie from a long time ago on another show that Nick and I did called Cast Slasher that I didn't get to see, and it's called As Above, So Below.
Oh, yeah.
I fucking loved that movie, man.
Right, that one was found footage, people going to the catacombs under Paris.
Dude! So many people have crapped on it. There were so many people. I'm not going to name names, but people just crapped on the movie. And I got to say that if you watch it, I would say either watch it with a good surround system or with headphones.
Or underground. If you can manage to get underground and watch that movie.
I thought it was absolutely freaking great. I loved it.
It was in my top 5 for the year, whatever year it was it came out. Yeah. I know that it was in my top 5.
I love the angle, the satanic people, let's call them, the ones in the robes and stuff.
Yep.
It reminded me a lot of like the was it Dr. Butcher MD and like the Blind Dead kind of shit. It's like really cool, really really cool movie. And the best part of it is that the ending is kind of it's not happy, but it's also like, well, that was unexpected. I was happy for it, So all right, so I like that a lot. And then there was something that you did by yourself, which I didn't want to see and nobody else did, but it was, I was going with a masturbation joke, but that didn't go anywhere. It's
wow.
the Purge election year. I watched that, and it's funny to watch the Purge election year after the presidential election that had occurred, because it's the exact role reversal of what happened.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say. If you watch the movie, you'll understand. But I'm sorry. Like, all you can do is laugh right now.
Yeah, I mean, not to spoil the movie, but I know at some point they definitely say the purge will continue.
Yeah.
Sure will.
I really think that it's the best one of the three, and they're going in the right direction.
Oh my God. Yes.
However, the only problem is there's so much ham-handed junk in it. Like, people, like the reviewer of Don't Breathe that was complaining about stuff. There's so much heavy-handed stuff in it that it's almost too on the nose. And a couple other minor gripes are all the things that you think are going to be great about it happen, and then they're disregarded or annihilated right away.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. I don't want to spoil that, but
I definitely agree.
Because it's like, imagine you go to see, let's say you go to see Mad Max, and all the geek people out there are like jacking it to Mad Max, like, yeah, gotta see Mad Max, that's so good, gotta see Mad Max. And you're like, why? There's like this guy on a guitar and like all this. And you go there, right? And you're like, all right, I'm fucking amped. I can't wait to see this. And then it's Mad Max, and you get to see all the people with the guitars and everything. And then the people with the guitars go away in 5 minutes. And the rest of the movie is Mad Max hanging out with the chicks the whole time. And then you're like, okay, well, this is cool, but like, where's that guitar guy? I want to see the guitar guy. That's kind of what happens a lot.
I really enjoyed Fury Road, by the way.
Oh yeah, me too. But I'm saying, like, if there was like almost no stunts, it's like maybe 10% of the movie was Mad Max that you expected, But like, it's still a good movie. There's just some really dumb things in it.
Oh, it's totally a dumb movie, but it's like a dumb action movie, you know? I put the Purge movies more in a category with like Jason Statham movies or something.
Yeah.
Something where you're just going to watch it as a cheesy popcorn moment in your life, and you're not going to remember, when people ask you your 100 favorite movies of your life, you're probably not going to throw in a Purge movie or a Jason Statham movie.
And it's a shame. It's a shame because I know they want to make that into a TV series too, like the Purge TV series. But like,
I think that's just bullshit horror news.
It really, well, yeah, I know, but the sad thing about the Purge series is that it could, it very well could be. I could be wrong on this, and like we'll find out in 20 years. But like, it could be like this era's The Warriors. It could be that, where it's people on the run from all these maniacs that are out to kill them. And it could have that same exact mass appeal, but it just, for me, the Purge always falls short. It's just, it's right there, and then it just goes, it just falls over. But it's still enjoyable, though. I really think that they're going in the right direction. They just kind of have to hone it in and stop trying to do everything at once in one movie. And then they'll be good.
Yeah, I think that like so many times they make those movies and they're like, I don't know if we're going to be able to have another Purge, so we got to make it all right now.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, no, your movies have been successful. Just have some restraint. Tell whatever story you want to. This is a horror movie series. You get to make like 10. Have you not seen Saw 10? Yeah. Actually, Saw 9 comes out next year, doesn't it? We shouldn't even joke.
Yeah, no, we're not joking. Oh, wait, it's 8. They're up to 8.
Is it 8?
8.
Oh,
Yeah.
here I am, the guy who saw every Saw movie in a theater, and he forgot what number the last one was. So,
You know how many Saw movies I saw in the theater?
1.
No.
2?
None.
You kid. Not even the first?
Not even the first one. No, I didn't see the first one because my asshole friends, they are assholes. They shit and fart. They were like, "Oh, this movie's terrible. Carrie always sucks." Blah blah. And I said, "Oh, well, I'll see it when it comes out in DVD." And I did, and I said, "I hate all of you."
Oh,
So
man.
what else have you seen, man?
You know, I saw on Netflix, and I only saw half of it, but the movie Holidays, it is an anthology where like every piece of the story is a different holiday throughout the year. Well, first off, I start watching it, and I'm like, oh, that's right. I don't like anthology movies, except I always forget that when I put on an anthology movie.
I love
And
anthology movies. Fuck you.
You know, I don't. And you know
I
how
love
hard
them.
to impress I am when it comes to anthologies.
Oh, I know. Do you like
but-
ABCs of Death?
I did like ABC's of Death. One anthology movie that I saw this past year that I liked more was Southbound. I think I mentioned that in a previous episode. But oh my God, this movie was first. Did you saw Holidays?
I saw the first 4 or 5 segments of Holidays, and then I stopped.
Okay, I saw up to Mother's Day, and then I was like, I'm falling asleep. So I had to take a break. I heard that Father's Day, the one right after it, is supposed to be the best one, and that after that it's mostly crap. But I couldn't. I mean, I was falling asleep. And there was just no way to continue because it was like it wasn't bad. It was just no. I guess it was bad. No, there was definitely some of the segments that I was like, hey, this is kind of interesting as a horror short. But I kind of wish that there were only 3 in this movie and not, 6 or 7 shorts. It's way too many shorts to sit through. Because then when you get a bad one, you're in that clunker for good, And that's what sucks about anthologies with that just don't have that same similar vibe to them that maintains throughout all the stories. Because you're going to get one that's like, what is happening in this one? And in fact, I think Mother's Day was the one that really put me off. Like, I don't even know what I'm watching anymore. Because this woman was like a mother of a snake, and that was like seriously the story. And I don't know. I was like, I have to stop watching, but I never made it to the end. I know Kevin Smith did one. I think he did the Halloween one, and it was around Halloween when I was watching the movie. So I totally wanted to get back to it, but I kept thinking about how bored I was, and I never finished it. So this is not a review. It's not a recommendation. You should avoid it. I'm just saying I tried to watch it and fell asleep during it.
I stopped watching at the one where they had Danny Zuko
Yeah.
in the short, and I said, okay, that's it. I'm done with the references. I hate all of you. I'm sick of it. If you're a filmmaker, make a film. Stop saying, remember Danny Zuko?
Yeah. Remember Danny Zuko?
Oh, I love Danny Zuko. Oh, I remember. No, just make your movie. Stop referencing other better movies than the shit that you were making. If you want to talk about other movies, have a horror podcast like us two fucking idiots.
Right.
God.
I heard about some movie that's coming out next year, and I was reading the review of it, or the preview of it, and it seems kind of interesting. And then they're like, and also Barbara Crampton is going to be in it, and I was like, oh. So it's going to be one of those movies where they throw in.
Is it the VHS horror movie thing? Like
No,
Jumanji? That looks cool.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
It's called Beyond the Gates, I think, where it's like a VHS horror movie, like the old VHS games that you would play with the VHS tape.
Oh wow! I
And
hadn't
then
heard about.
it comes to
maybe
life.
I didn't read. I don't know. I'll find out the name of the one that I'm talking about.
Okay.
But
The one I'm talking about is Beyond the Gates.
it was watch it's the same movie, and I'm an idiot, and I just forgot the name of it.
I bet you're right.
I don't even remember what I read about it now. Hang on.
I just like saying you're an idiot.
It's on this page. I am just going to it. Okay.
So in the meantime, people,
here it is. It's called Replace.
I have
and
never heard of that one.
Okay, it's about one woman who is trying to steal other people's skin to replace her own for some reason. She keeps turning into like a mummy looking thing. Okay. It was on crack.com in 7 awesome new movies nobody told you about that are coming soon or whatever. And then it's like, oh, wow, this sounds like a creepy fucking weird movie. She's stumbling closer to death's disgusting door. She chooses instead to replace her skin with someone else's. Sounds like a fucking weird movie. And then the next paragraph is the film also stars Barbara Crampton, best known for being a good sport while making Reanimator. And it's like, God damn it. I know that they probably.
I like Barbara Crampton.
I'm not saying that I have a problem with her. I'm just saying.
But you have a problem with stunt casting.
Yeah, I just felt like that was the moment that it was like the member berries moment. Remember Barbara Crampton in Reanimator, you know?
Remember Chopping Mall? Oh, yeah. Remember Chopping Mall?
Right.
I see that happen on, not to get sidetracked or anything, but I see that on a lot of horror, DVD release pages and stuff that I belong to where people go, it's like, we're releasing this movie, and people go, oh my god, I remember that movie, and it's like their favorite movie of all time, every single time, and it's funny because so many people resell these movies because they buy them and they suck. It's great, except for me. I fucking almost love everything, because I'm pathetic.
What else you seen?
I saw some cool stuff. I will say that the movie Fender Bender is quite cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though it's very referencey to a past era, it's a good contemporary film. So that's all I'm gonna say. It's a cool flick. I would definitely suggest checking that out. And yeah, I'm not gonna say too much about it. It's good though. I also saw Lights Out.
Oh yeah, the one from this summer where like. There's a shadow person that only appears when the lights go out.
Yeah, where I like the original short, which is a lot scarier than the movie. The movie was good, but it wasn't great. And it was very tense for a PG-13 movie. But that's about it, It's like, okay, that was cool. Next. All right, so I did that. And then there's this... So I got some stuff from Vinegar Syndrome, and speaking of member, there's this movie called Murder Weapon with Linnea Quigley, right? It's a double feature. It's like Dave Dakota made a bunch of movies, and if you don't know who Dave Dakota is, he made a bunch of movies that were pretty shitty, but still good shitty. The one that he's most famous for is like. What is it? Sorority Babes and Slime Bowl, Bolorama, and shite. There's other stuff. Anyway, Murder Weapon with Linnea Quigley also has a pretty big star in it. And Nick, I'm going to ask you if you recall a gentleman who was in a movie who said Garbage Day.
Garbage Day?
Yeah.
You mean the guy who says Garbage Day?
Yeah, Ricky.
Is in the movie?
Yeah, Ricky.
Wow.
Ricky is one of the... so basically, it's instead of girls getting killed at a sorority party, it's guys getting killed. Like a stag party. Mm-hmm. And the gore in it is... When the guys get killed, it looks realistic. It's one of the most realistic.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, which is surprising because the movie is such shit. It's so terrible. But when people get killed in it, it's quite cool. Except for when Ricky gets killed. Spoiler alert. It looks like a face painted on a balloon that blows up.
That's good too.
It's still great though.
That's good horror.
But yes, that's something else that I watched. Nick, how about yourself, man?
Dude, the only other horror type thing that I've seen recently, and this one, I don't know if you're going to want to do a full episode on after you see it. Probably not. But it was, I actually just watched it, oh man, sometime this past week. The Greasy Strangler.
Guess what I watched today?
Oh my God, you watched it today?
Yeah, I did.
Oh my God. So this movie, if I could just describe it to people, if you don't watch the trailer, it's going to be impossible for you to be on the same page as me and Jack for the conversation we're about to have. Or do you want to save it for an episode, or do you just want to blow it?
No,
right
we'll
now?
just blow it.
Yeah, 'cause this movie.
Because who knows, we might not be able to record till July.
Oh yeah, we might not be able to record till next July, and that would be cool.
That'll
So-
be happy birthday. Remember your birthday party?
Yeah, remember? But no. Okay, so this movie kind of had a vibe in it that was like Napoleon Dynamite meets The Taint, or some other
Lawrence-
trauma thing.
Lauren said Tim and Eric.
Oh, Tim and Eric, awesome show, great job, absolutely, is another one
And-
that I was thinking at first.
And John
then As the
Waters.
movie progressed. Yes, John Waters, but like, if John Waters had a lobotomy.
Yes.
And this movie, now, granted, this movie is simultaneously probably the worst thing I've seen in years, but also, I really enjoyed watching it.
Me too. And
It was so bad, but so wonderful. I smiled.
oh, you're a
through,
bullshit
like,
artist.
I smiled through like everything in this movie. Just like every scene, I was like, I don't know what's happening, but I love that it's happening.
Bullshit.
And oh my God, man! When it gets to the point where they're yelling at the top of their lungs. Now, we haven't even described the movie because there is nothing to describe. It's just this dude lives with his father, and he has a suspicion that he's the Greasy Strangler in quotes, and they eat really greasy food that's completely disgusting, and nothing of note really happens in the movie. They give like tours to people around the city. And then then one of them, then the son like gets a girlfriend, and the dad gets jealous of his relationship.
And he
That's
likes
the
to
movie.
watch her pee.
Oh my God! Don't give away too much,
That's all I'm gonna say.
dude. When it gets to the
There's
point,
not much. That's not giving away too much of this movie.
it gets to the point where they're just like standing around yelling "Rudy Tooty Disco Fruity."
Rudy,
Or
Judy,
whatever.
Disco,
What is it? Rudy Tooty Disco Cutie.
Disco Cutie. Yes.
Oh my God, dude! That scene was the penultimate insane scene in a movie that I've seen since I don't know when.
Did you see who one of the producers was of this movie?
Elijah
Wood.
Elijah Wood produced this movie, and I thought it was kickstarted, but it actually wasn't kickstarted. They got the money to make this movie, and it was made by the guy who made, if you saw ABCs of Death 2, G is for Granddad, and it is very much like if G is for Granddad was spread the fuck out into an hour and a half.
Oh
long
my
movie.
God! Yeah, that's the one where the guy's in the bed.
And there's Old Man Dong in it.
Yeah.
And stuff. Oh my God! Is there male fake nudity throughout? Like this movie has the merkin of all merkins. It's like they shaved 10 other merkins and made a giant one. And then one of the dudes, his genitalia looks like the top of a sriracha bottle.
It looks like fucking the top of Elf on a Shelf's hat.
Or Elmer's glue tip, perhaps. And it's totally like paper mache. Like the genitalia in this movie is completely ridiculous.
It's
yeah.
After watching it, the more I think about it, the more I love it. It sucks. The movie sucks.
Oh, the movie's terrible, but I love it.
But it's great. It's one of those.
I felt like I was gonna throw up the whole movie.
Oh, you and I
Just like-
both, dude.
Every scene, I have the same feeling in my stomach as when you watch like an August Underground movie. You know, that sort of like empty pit inside of you. Except in this one, someone is tickling that pit. Like, oh my God.
And I'm not even like I know they were going for gross out
Absurd.
nudity. Absurd nudity and stuff. But I wasn't even grossed out by the nudity per se when it came to, the not everybody's perfect. I get that. But the way they handle it and leaning back and holding, I'm not even gonna get into it, but there's some stuff in here that's just you don't want to see the person do it, and they do it, and they do stuff that you don't want to see them doing.
Oh my god!
But I and you know as far as the acting goes, I thought the actors were great.
Oh yeah, they really had to understand the movie that they were making.
Oh my god, yeah.
And I mean, it's not like in a trauma movie where they just hired someone off the street for $100. Hey, you've got tattoos and look kind of punk rock. You want to be in my movie? Mm-hmm. It's not like that at all. They got real comedy people who like understand absurd, subversive comedy that is like exploitative and disgusting. And like my wife couldn't finish the movie. My wife, who watches everything beside me, the last movie she couldn't watch, last movie she couldn't make it all the way through was August Underground #3.
I don't blame her. But go on.
But dude, this movie is like that, minus the sadism and plus like a clown car full of dumb gags. Like that's what it's like. It's hard to compare the Greasy Strangler to anything else I have ever seen other than like Beelzebub movies or, you know, I mean, like, I guess you could kind of compare it to Trauma, but Trauma,
I don't think they'd make it. Yeah,
they lack the restraint to make this movie, and they also lack the self-awareness that this movie has. Mm-hmm. Like this movie, the whole time you're watching it, you're like, you know that they are daring you. The movie is there to dare you to say it's a terrible movie because it is one. But if you say that, it's too obvious. And that's not what the real point of this movie is. It's so bad that it is actually, you just have to accept all of its badness and actually like it. It's like a really ugly dog. Like you adopted a really ugly dog and you just gotta love that mutt because you chose it. So yeah, I'm glad we didn't do a full episode on it because there's no way you could even talk about that movie without ruining it for people. The Greasy Strangler. Look it up. If you watch the trailer, you know if you're in or out.
Yeah.
Like right away. And I mean, it was just absurd. And disgusting. I kind of want to puke now that I'm talking about it. Like there's such gross shit in that movie. Like, and I'm a person who never gets grossed out. I've seen the grossest things, but this grossed me out. Bad. So.
Do you know what time it is, Nick?
Are we done?
No.
Oh, is it time for?
It's time to give some minutes out.
Yeah. That's what I was hoping the time was come for our most diligent listener. He might not be, but he might be. So.
Well, I think we should give it to him. Mm-hmm. Let's do
8 minutes. 8 minutes for Sean Kelly.
8 minutes for Sean Kelly.
You're right. Who this past week, I'll say this past week to make it sound like this is timely, but he actually asked us like 4 months ago what we thought about the trailer for the movie that's coming out in January of next year, Get Out, which is the first horror film from Jordan Peele. Mm-hmm. Jordan Peele from Key and Peele. Yes, that TV show that was on Comedy Central with the two black guys who were a comedy troupe or duo. I guess they were a duo. All right, first, this movie, to describe it, is about a young black dude and his white girlfriend, and he's going to go and meet her parents for the first time in white bread suburbia, somewhere probably in Massachusetts or something. And he's nervous about it because he's like, are you sure? Do they know that you're dating a black man? You know? And then he goes there, and it's all white people. And there are some black people there, but they, like, are like sort of like Stepford Wife-ish. It seems like something horrible is going on, and they're like, "Don't you know that a bunch of black people have gone missing in this suburb area?" And it seems like the white people there are keeping some sort of slave tradition alive, except through hypnosis. That's what the trailer pretty much tells you. Is there anything I missed?
No, that's pretty much it.
I think it looks awesome.
I-
I think it looks wonderful.
I think it looks like a classic, and it looks like the classic horror movie of this era.
Right. Exactly the movie that a broken, divided America needs right now. It is
couldn't agree
timely
anymore.
and
It's
perfect.
yep.
And like in horror, that's where you get this sort of stuff. The subversive message that deals with a taboo. A movie that, like, maybe 15 years ago, something like this would have been a drama. In the 80s, it would have been a comedy. In the 90s and 2000s, it would have been a drama, some sort of Denzel Washington movie. And here we are. And this subject of race has become so oddly uncomfortable that you could only discuss it in a horror movie. So I can't wait to see it. I actually just saw on the speaking of stuff I've just seen, I just watched the movie Keanu on HBO Go. Their movie from last year, or this past year actually, where like there's a cat and it ends up being the focal point of a gang war. And that movie's really funny. And I don't ever say that about movies. This movie is going to be a straight up horror movie. Get Out is going to be a horror movie. It's not going to be a comedy, even though they are known for comedy. And I keep saying they, but the guy whose name is Key, who I don't know his full name, is
Peele.
not involved in this movie at all. No, Peele is the other guy. Jordan
No.
Peele. He made this movie. He's the shorter kind of rounder head. No, they both have pretty round heads. I don't know. He's he's kind of chunkier. I didn't want to say that, but I did. But I don't know. I think that Get Out is the first movie of 2017 that I'm actually excited for. How do you feel about that?
I agree completely. When I saw the trailer, I was just watching it going, I can't wait to see this movie and already own this movie because it looks so great. And even Bradley Whitford looking all Family Ties dad. I think it's going to be quite a great film. And I'm definitely looking forward to it because not only just the subject matter, just the idea alone, like taking Meet the Parents and turning it on its head in a sense.
Right.
It's kind of like that. I mean, it's like that, that template where we got to go meet the family, and I feel awkward, but then, things get even more awkward.
Right.
So.
To the point where it's just nuts that somebody would go and make a movie about this, and then even watching the movie Keanu, you could see where they're playing with like the ideas behind race in a way that's like no one else is doing it all. Like in the movie Keanu, they play two black guys who are not stereotypical black guys, and they get mixed up with people in actual gangs, and it shows like their own detachment from the societal view of blackness, and it's pretty cool and pretty deep and gets really funny, in a way that most people wouldn't, because most people don't appreciate approaching taboo subjects, it's only a slight taboo in a way to be talking about race. It's not like you're talking about like raping kids or something, but it is in a way that's like makes people uncomfortable and they don't want to approach it. They'd rather just skip over it.
Right.
And I think that that's a great thing.
Well, Sean,
I can't wait to see it.
Sean, you got 2 minutes and 30 seconds with your 8-minute Sean Kelly.
Yeah. Hey, Sean Kelly out there, if you're listening, and you better be because we're talking directly to you. What movie do you recommend?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Thanks.
Thanks for joining us, Sean.
Right. I'm so happy.
And to the listeners who are not Sean Kelly, if you reach out to us, we might do a segment just specifically for you. And you will become the most famous part of the Jack and Nick Horror Show.
Probably not.
Rather more so than us.
If Sean beats you to it, Sean wins. Sorry.
Sean does win. Sean's a good man. He has good taste in movies.
Man, so is this the end of our show, or do we still have to fill out this?
No,
time
we
for
still have to
Sean?
fill out the time for Sean.
Oh, God damn it! How much time is left?
1 minute and 37 seconds.
Sean.
Hey, Sean.
I hope you're having a good day.
Hey, Sean, what did you get at the grocery store this week?
Would you like to recommend something to us?
Yeah, what kind of what kind of food did you purchase? Do you get the rising crust pizza or do you not get pizza? Is that too fattening?
Wait, like what's the opposite of rising crust? Like flat crust, like the one
Yeah,
at
the
Domino's?
flatbread. Yeah,
I'll eat that sometimes because like I'm trying to not be such a fat ass.
you know what's gonna happen at the end of this 8-minute segment, like the 10 seconds prior to? That's when we're gonna be like, "Oh my god, this is what we could have talked about."
I know.
And then it's gonna run out. It happens at every single.
I know. He
8-minute
talks to
one.
me on Twitter and
He talks to you on Twitter.
well, yeah, like we'll talk on Twitter about something
He doesn't
sometimes,
talk
and I
to me
can't
on
remember.
Twitter. Nobody talks
Yes,
to
he
me.
does.
No.
You're tagged in the same tweets.
I know. I hardly check Twitter. I'm sorry.
Oof. You got to be a 21st century.
But
digital boy.
the problem with Twitter is that every time I grab my phone and I hear leak and I go, "Oh, what's that?" And then I see somebody just tweeted about this bullshit. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. Fuck you, Twitter. That's where I get. That's where I'm at with Twitter. Guess what?
Nice.
10.
Oh, here it comes.
8, 7. Sean, it's been real.
Oh, I just signed in to Twitter. Oh no.
That's it.
That's
We
the
did
end
it.
of our show. We made it alive.
We did it, Nick. I don't know how we did it, but we did it. We made a show.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations.
We're really bad at making shows.
Yeah, we
Because
have
even
been.
when we make them, they're not everybody's favorite, I guess. I don't know.
Fuck 'em. Fuck them in the ear.
Well, we made a show. So, we expect to make one more show, which will be our top 5
One more
of the year.
show and
Well, yeah, at least one more show. Hopefully a
coming
million
in
more
2020.
shows. Yeah, exactly. Coming in 2020.
Yeah.
No, it'll be our favorite show, our favorite movies of the year, top 5 and bottom 1. It's our thing. Oh, and then in 2020, I really want to do this. We have to be podcasting by 2020. It's only 3 years from now. In 2019, our last episode of the year is going to be the best movies of the decade, the whole fucking thing, and it'll be awesome. Our favorite movies of the 2010s. Teens.
So we'll
Whatever.
probably have like maybe 6. Okay.
Yeah, we might do the top 6, bottom 2.
I kid.
I
There-
don't.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you for listening. Hopefully you get to listen to us again.
I mean, really, we want to
we really,
Wanna come back?
want this. Yeah, we do.
follow us on Twitter at Jack and Nick Show.
It's been so long that we forget our Twitter handle.
Yeah. At New Jersey Nick is where you can find me. Jack, where do you live?
In Pennsylvania.
No! I meant
Oh, on Twitter.
yeah.
At Jacob K666.
You can follow us on Facebook. We're now on YouTube. If it's more convenient to find us on YouTube, get us there. Get us on Stitcher. Just get us. Keep telling people about us. We actually, in the couple of months that we weren't really making anything, we did gain some momentum. So thanks for telling people about us if you did.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for listening to us when we weren't putting out content.
Yeah, that's
Now that we are putting out content, our listenership will sink.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody's going to listen to this one.
And don't worry, we're going to end this show and we're going to create a new one. It's going to be called These Assholes Again.
Sounds accurate.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good day.
We love you, Sean Kelly.